Greetings, Bapoites. Bapo, believe ambitiously, persevere opportunities outstandingly. Today's topic, suspected arson. The Office of Attorney at Law, Isaac Buchanan, an office space or building shared by Isaac Buchanan, was engulfed with flames. And the question whether or not it was arson, cognizant of the fact that Mr. Buchanan filed a habeas corpus for the release of his client Vibes Cartel and co-accused, right? If there's no reasonable grounds, of course, for their detention, the accused, the Vibes Cartel and his co-accused would naturally be released from detention. And now it is reported that the office space that he shared in Duke Street, downtown Kingston, was engulfed with flames. So the determination whether it was an arson, the act of arson. So suspected arson. This is a situation. When I heard about it, I wasn't flabbergasted. I wasn't surprised in any way. Or colloquially speaking, I wasn't cock-a-farted. There was no form of suspicion because I can recall when his Avondale home, there was his Avondale home, the home of one of the home of Vibes Cartel. It was burnt down. It was actually burnt down, or for whatever reason, it was engulfed with flames. So therefore, I wasn't surprised when I heard that the office space of Isaac Buchanan, Vibes Cartel attorney, was engulfed with flames. That wasn't surprising anyway. But I can't really say that it was actually arson, but rather suspected arson, because we have to be aware, mindful of the law as well. And, the law is of utmost importance, so I must understand how I convey such information. So therefore, when I look at it, why is it after the habeas corpus was filed, Mr. Isaac Buchanan, attorney at law for Vice Cartel, he filed habeas corpus, which would have made these men, the accused, Vice Cartel and his co-accused, be brought before a judge, right? And upon determination, if there is no reasonable grounds for their detention, these men the accused should be released. They should be released. And at this time, there's no reasonable grounds. The judge cannot find any reasonable grounds for their detention. So I don't understand why is it this delay and this, and now the office space burned down. This would have arose any well-thinking person suspicion that something don't seem right. Why is it after the habeas corpus was filed, then this transpired? There is the office was engulfed with flames. Office space shared on certain files, but the files were destroyed, and documents were destroyed. But we are in, a technological age, and those documents naturally of such sensitive nature would have been stored on other devices, and because these things do happen. It could be accidental as well, but it seems suspicious. And when I look at it, right, if these men, the accused, Vice Carter and his co-accused, why are they not? These men should be brought before a judge. And when they're brought before a judge, I can assure you that there will be no reasonable grounds for their detention. Therefore, they should be released. These men should be released, and upon release, these men will be compensated. They will be compensated, and to further delay things and stretching it out and have these men is only subjecting the state to further expense. This is what it is happening. This state will be subjected to further expense. Taxpayers' dollar will be paid. Taxpayers' money will be used to cover these expenses. These expenses must be footed by someone, by the state. The state will have to pay for the legal expense and other damages caused, because we are looking at this situation as, as just simple. It is a delicate situation. It's a sensitive situation, and I don't understand why legal mind people who should have understand the law keep on delaying this. They should actually be before a judge already, and to just get this matter out of the way, because the longer, and I don't understand why someone, if it was an act of arson rather, if it was an act of arson, what the arsonist would have achieved, burning down the building, would not solve the problem. Destroying files, documents can solve the problem, because an attorney at law would have naturally, as a backup plan, as backup store, as stuff that is stored certain sensitive information, cognizant of the nature of this high profile case, he would have naturally stored information by other means, various means. He cannot just have them by those documentation and in those files. So this would not stop the case in any way. This will not stop the case. For the case to be for any retrial, to lead to any retrial, or these men should be released immediately. Yes, Vybz Kartel and his co-accused should be released, because the judge cannot find, and I can assure you that the judge will not, from the beginning. I know that there's a term I use, a phrase I use, this Simon say trial, right? The same way I refer to the Michael Cohen and Donald Trump case, I refer to it as another Simon say trial, because there's no lawful grounds to really keep him and bring such an incarceration or anything of that nature. So it's another Simon say trial. But let me not deviate. Vybz Kartel and his co-accused should be released. So when they are brought before the judge, cognizant of the fact that Mr. Isaac Buchanan, attorney at law, filed the habeas corpus, they should be released, because I can assure you again, the judge cannot find any reasonable grounds for their detention. Any lawful, reasonable grounds. Let me put lawful, because when I'm dealing with the law, I like to be very technical and precise in how I convey information. There is no lawful grounds for their detention. There cannot be any lawful grounds for their detention, so therefore these men should be released. And upon their release, these men can actually take legal action against the state, and emotional distress, for example, caused as a result of being incarcerated for so many years. Financial, loss. There are so many legal and the state. These men can actually leave prison, and become multi-millionaire though. Unfortunately, that's it. That's the reality. These men can actually be billionaires, millionaires from half of the state. So who wasn't millionaire before can actually be millionaire now. But I don't really want it to go that way. Then just secure their freedom and just live their lives, and make better decision, in terms of the people they associate with, and focus on positivity, and because the law is of utmost importance, and they themselves must understand that their association is of utmost importance, and they must conduct themselves differently this time around. So when I look at it with the arson, the suspected arson, it will not trample on the case in any ways, it will not trample on the case because habeas corpus already filed. And if someone burned down the office, it was actually an act of arson. It won't change a thing because there's an attorney at law will not necessarily. How can an attorney at law, right, just store the information in 2024? In the year 2024, we just depend on documents. Office can burn down, so they actually would have these things would be into consideration and understand that yes, the office can burn down, so we have to have these things and certain drive files and certain things, and digital age. We're in digital age, so everything advanced. So we understand that. So if this is actually an act of arson, whatever the person wants to achieve, it won't work. It won't stop. So I can assure you that when these men brought before a judge, the judge cannot find any reasonable grounds to keep them. They will be released, and released, not just released. They will, if they wish to pursue legal suits against the government of Jamaica, these men will be millionaires. Millionaires. Because, this is what happens when you have incompetence, When there is incompetence, the subject, so when you have incompetence, the state subject to lawsuits. Incompetence and bear on the part of the police officer, the investigating officer, which fall to the DPP office. So such incompetence will lead and can lead to lawsuits. So the state will have to foot the bill. Well, not this. Well, taxpayers' money will have to use to cover these lawsuits. So when I look at it, if it's indeed an act of arson, it's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. And if this is the way Jamaica is going, operating like a narco state where you burn evidence, destroy. The country is really heading down a dark path, and heading down a way where we have to be mindful and operate, or we conduct ourselves, because things cannot be like this. Too many emotions in this with people. We should act professional. I don't see professionalism. I see people are driven by emotion and how they feel about a situation rather than capitalizing on the law. The law should be capitalized on rather than emotion. People are capitalizing more on their emotion, or whether or not they feel that he is guilty, or we feel that he is guilty, so we are going to take such action, and we should. This is only going to lead to the accused, beneficial more to the accused. The more people use their emotion rather than capitalize on the law, the more the accused will be benefited from such every act that might seem vindictive against the accused. It cannot be like this where people just believe that people should just act contrary to the law because they feel that it's not. A person's constitutional rights must be respected. It's not about what you feel that the person guilty. The person has a right to a fair trial. So once there is not a fair trial, everything else has to fall into line. That it wasn't a fair trial. Therefore, if it wasn't a fair trial, what do we expect? The accused must be released from detention. They must be released. I don't understand why has it taken so long for them to be released. Other person may argue that why are you defending these individuals? Because if I was in this situation, I would like my constitutional rights to be respected as well. Let us just look at it that way. If you was in a similar situation, you would like your constitutional rights to be respected. they didn't receive a fair trial. If they didn't receive a fair trial, how can I, in support of the prosecution? I can't support the prosecution if these men's constitutional rights were violated. So therefore, going forward, these men, any further case, they must learn, the prosecution office must learn from this error. They must learn from this error. So, Bapo TV, I am out.